Yeah, looking at the player of the week, Jack Wheeler and RJ Duncan, both winners this week. So what do you got on that?
Yeah, Jack Wheeler. I'll go with him first. He went 9 for 15. He had 3 bombs, 2 doubles, 11 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. And then he also had a dominant outing on the mound in which he earned the win. And then RJ. I mean, we just talked about his outing he had this past week. He might be in the running for it again. But in Monday, it was a conference matchup, and he fired a 7 inning complete game, which is 3 hits allowed, 1 walk, and he had 16 punch outs, which kind of sealed the deal for us. He also went 2 for 3 at the plate. So 2 good
Yeah,
weeks there. And I know those are 2 high level prospects as well.
yeah. The Dungeon thing also was against Morton.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm bringing this up, I went to see East Peoria. It would have been last Saturday now, and RJ came up to me before the game and was just like, "Hey, where do I submit Player of the Week stuff, or where can I have a coach submit Player of the Week stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, you can just have him email me or whatever and send me the information." And I was like, why did like what he got for me? And he told me like what he did against Morton, and I had actually seen that on Twitter, but I just thought it was funny that he kind of knew like, hey, I had a good outing, like let's get this on there. So, so go
He
ahead,
wants
Drew.
to make sure he's listed in the Diamond
Yeah,
Notes for Player of the Week. I love it. I love it.
yep,
He's paying
yep.
attention.
But with that, Diamond Notes. Just a few things that I saw from last week that really stood out in the Diamond Notes doc. Patrick Kennedy at Champaign Central threw 6 innings against PND, struck out 11, walked 3, allowed 2 hits and a run. Kale Custer at Rock Island Allman went 8 for 13 last week with a homer, 5 doubles, 4 RBIs, 6 runs scored, 7 stolen bases, and a walk. And then Hayden Bernreuter.
He's done it all year. It's every week now at this point we're talking about Hayden, but for Triad, right, 6 for 12, a triple, a walk, 2 RBIs, 4 runs scored, stolen base. But then on the mound in a conference game against Mascuda, complete game, 7 innings pitched, just gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, no runs, and punched out 11. So a John A. Logan commit there. Also wanted to touch on Patrick Kennedy. I know we talked about Lakeland earlier. That's where he's going. So more reinforcements on the way for the JUCO schools here in Illinois. But Drew, what do you got?
Well, Bernreuter, we've talked about him on this podcast, but I get into the beginning of this podcast and I just steal all the thunder from Jack Wheeler and RJ Duncan, not realizing that you're gonna touch on them for Player of the Week. But that's how much they've been standing out, is they've just been on like the top of my mind. But like Hayden Bernreuter for Triad, I'm a huge fan of like Triad's team. And when I think about it, like he's a guy in that lineup, you can't make a mistake to him because that like he could leave the yard at any moment. And Triad's got a couple of those guys. Like when you factor in Keegan Sipe, who's only a sophomore, those are 2 left-handed hitters in that lineup. So no, I just wanted to touch on that. And Hayden Bernreuter, like the Jack Wheelers of the world, like so many of these other seniors in Illinois that are just continuing to elevate, he is right there with them. And it would be no surprise if that guy, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road is being talked about, from a draft perspective.
Yeah. And then moving over to our coverage, or go
Yeah,
ahead, Drew.
Gab,
Sorry.
can I actually interrupt you one because
Yes.
I had a couple things on my mind as you were talking there, going through Diamond Notes. But you know how I know you are just super comfortable in Central Illinois and just locked in on every team? When you casually go through the list and you just drop a PND on us for Peoria Notre Dame like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was absolutely nothing. Like we all know exactly who you're talking about. But yeah, PND Peoria Notre Dame.
Yes.
So I love it. You're getting comfortable. But for anybody else out there who's maybe not as comfortable in Central Illinois, he was mentioning Peoria, Notre Dame. That's who Patrick Kennedy had that strong outing against. But I
Great,
love it. I
great,
love
great
it,
call
Gav.
out there.
Yeah, I was cracking up in my head.